When it comes to ARK, good base locations are needed for survival, so we proudly present Top 10 Overpowered Base Locations on ARK. My server's Deluxe just wiped a few days ago. Deluxe servers is just like OC, but with better server handling and an official grind. Deluxe offers 3x harvest, lag-free servers, an in-game shop, no pay to win, 5x breeding, new player protection, 3x experience, and more. Come join Deluxe today and get up to 1 week of new player protection. And coming at number 10, this can be found at 94.4 latitude and 39.0 longitude on the center. Here it is on the map. On the kind of far side of the map you can see is this little spot right here. Now if you do not know what this spot is, it's basically a ceiling spot on the center that is actually pretty overpowered. Now it doesn't look the biggest, but when you have a lot of structures placed down here, it actually hosts a lot of area for room and for dino storage. A good part about this is that it's super high up, so you're not going to have to worry about many people even trying to raid you, and if they do, it's going to be one pretty tough fight. And coming at number 9, this can be found at 68.5 latitude and 61.3 longitude on Ragnarok. Now here it is on the map. This can be found in the desert, and this is known as Desert Crack. Now Desert Crack has always been a pretty popular spot on ARK, especially whenever Ragnarok came out. This was the best spot at the time, but unfortunately a lot of meshing kind of ruined this spot because it's a very easily meshable spot, which is a big issue. But other than that, there's no 6x cave damage or anything in here. It's got a good size to it, so if you're a smaller tribe looking for a good amount of room, this is definitely a great spot to build. As well as with the Desert Crack on the outside, it's a little bit harder to actually raid it because of the size of that area. And coming at number 8, this can be found at 14.6 latitude and 85.5 longitude on the island. Now this is known as Carno Cave. Now I promise that not all of these are going to be caves, it's just that caves are kind of the new meta for ARK, and a lot of people really have to live in caves to really survive. But this little cave, well, I say little, it's actually a pretty big cave. This has always been super popular from the beginning of ARK's release, because this was the first map that came out with ARK. And this is Carno Cave. So you come inside and you go inside this little water entrance, and then it opens you up into this massive cave. Now me personally, I don't really like this cave as it's just kind of a bit of a mess. I mean, everything's everywhere. It's a little hard to get things set up in here how you want it, but the good side of this is I believe it's 3x damage for this cave, and you have an artifact in here too. It's out of the way. A lot of people don't really play on island, they kind of just do some like note runs and go to other maps, so a lot of people aren't even gonna know that you're really here, even though it's a popular spot. But other than that, this is still a really good spot. And coming at number 7, this can be found at 76.8 latitude and 44.6 longitude, and this can be found on Genesis Part 1. Now this can be found in the Arctic biome, and this has been one of my favorite spots whenever this map came out. That and one of the other spots in the bog, which was a little tiny rat hole. But anyways, I love this spot a lot because there's no flyers on Part 1, which is super nice, and meaning that this spot's really not the easiest to raid. Now this is probably the most open spot on this list, but I personally love this spot. There's tons of room up here. Now with the release of Part 2, it added Maywings, but then again, even with the Maywings, it's still a really good spot. And coming at number 6, this can be found at 55.2 latitude and 65.7 longitude on Aberration. Now this spot I've featured in many other videos, as it's probably the best cave on Aberration, at least in my opinion. So you come over to the blue zone and you're greeted with this super long water entrance. Now yeah, I did kind of like speed fly through this because it's such a big cave, but coming through here, there's just so much in this cave. So you come down here, into this little first room, and it has a little bit of water in there. And then you're greeted with this long tunnel. The long tunnel basically leads you to a kind of really small entrance, as you can see with that, you know, like you can't walk through there. And then you're opened up into a massive cave. Now this thing keeps going with just different tunnels and different spots. There's tons of room in here. I recommend building over here above the water, as that's the best spot in this cave, the most open, and you can build on top of the water, which is really nice. But there are some downsides with this. This is a 6x cave. However, it's on Aberration. A lot of people don't play Aberration, especially on most unofficial servers. So if you're looking to build in here, it's a nice, somewhat hiding spot that everybody still knows about. Now coming at number 5, this can be found at 18.3 latitude and 30.0 longitude, and this can be found on the center. Now this has always been one of my favorite maps, as the center is just such a perfect map in my opinion. I mean, it's a nice calm map, has some amazing caves like this one, and this is North Ice, and North Ice is probably one of the best spots on ARK. So as you can see, once you enter, you go underneath a water area and it leads you to 2 different areas. Now one area is a pretty good sized area, and then another one is just another kind of smaller area, and I believe this one is the smaller area, I believe. Yes, so this is the smaller one. However, it would still work as a great spot. I mean, both of the underwater areas make for amazing base spots. Downside that this has 6x cave damage on it, which is not the best, but if you spam this underwater thing with Tusos, no one's getting through that. I mean, just the Tusos alone are gonna have people struggling to even try to get into your base. But I've personally built in this cave, and just saying, it's gonna take a lot of work to build in here. I mean, there's just a ton of room for you to have to cover with turrets, with turret towers, you know, turret walls, all that. And then here's the second area. But if you're looking to have a pretty big tribe in here, this is a great spot for you. And this second area is a lot bigger than the first one. Now coming at number 4, this can be found at 28.4 latitude and 58.2 longitude, and this can be found on Genesis Part 2. Now a lot of you guys know what these are, and that is the ports. So the ports are used to basically get in and out, but they also make us really good base spots, which a lot of people kind of overlook that. So if you're a new player, you'll probably just see these as, you know, ports to get in and out of the different areas. However, this is a very great spot for a base. You can easily build a good sized base in here, and you just have to defend 2 entrances. So you can put 100 turrets on that and then 100 turrets on the other side, as it's big enough for that. And coming at number 3, this can be found at 40.4 latitude and 73.6 longitude on Crystal Isles. Now a lot of you guys know about this spot if you watch my videos since, you know, the Crystal Isles map came out. But this spot has been featured, I believe, 20 times now in my videos, because it's just such an amazing spot. But this spot can be found in a like floating island, so it's a little tricky to get to it if you don't know where this spot is. But you just go to the coordinates, like kind of on the surface of the water, and it'll bring you under the floating island, and then you can get up in here. This area has a ton of room in here, including this nice little crouch area in the back. And if you're a 6-man tribe, it makes for an amazing spot. But there's no 6x damage, and you can easily fit 100 turrets in here with no issues at all. And coming at number 2, this can be found at 46.7 latitude and 39.8 longitude on Lost Island. Now this one has been featured in, I think, my last video, so if you're watching this video after my last video, sorry about the duplicate, you know, kind of like showcase, but this cave is a very great cave to live in. Now, on the outside, there's no real, like, ramp or kind of any way to technically walk a dino up here. So if you're looking to build on here on a PvP server, it's a great spot, as it'll be a pretty difficult raid, kind of like at the number 10 spot, how there's literally no way to walk up there. This one's not as high as that one, but it's still a lot bigger. I mean, if you look at the inside, you have your own water source. Everything is pretty flat for the most part. You have tons of room, so if you're a bigger tribe, this is definitely a great spot for you. I also did a full base design pretty recently on this, so make sure to go check that out, as I'm not going to be doing another one on this. And coming at number 1, this can be found at 71.6 latitude and 0.06 longitude. Now this can be found on Fjordor, and this is my favorite spot on this map, I believe, as it's pretty much unraidable. I mean, you're not getting into this thing if you have proper, you know, like base defenses on this thing, but it is a underwater spot that leads upward into a cave. Now, the upward part, that's gonna suck for trying to raid, because you'll either have to use the Carkinos or just cryo stuff and keep throwing it up, getting more, throwing it up, and it just sucks. Now anyways, once you walk into here, you'll notice it's not like other caves. I mean, it is a literal man-made kind of cave with tons of room. You have lava, you have bats, you even have an entire maze on the back if you feel like dying constantly. There's tons of room for a full base in here, and it makes for a great spot. Now anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like if you're new, hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.